All right, I am down here on the floor, and I'm going to show you some stretches for your lower back and hips, okay? Lower back and hips. So these primarily focus on the hips themselves. There's also one here for the ankle, all right? But doing these stretches can really help to alleviate pain in your hips and your lower back. So these are 6 that I regularly do, okay? Well, if I don't, then I do get pain. So anyhow, I'm going to show you, okay? So stay tuned. So this is a pigeon stretch, and I'm going to show you the other side here. This one I have to be careful on because I've got a hypermobile fibula, so putting my leg in this position actually really doesn't do well in my fibula. Luckily, it's being pushed into the ground, so it helps to stabilize it. Okay, so hopefully you can see here, I don't have quite the same flexibility as my other side. So, all right, but basically what we're trying to do here is I'm pushing back my right hip in this case, my right hip. Okay, so the side where my leg is forward in front of me here, I'm pushing the hip sort of back and to the side, okay? And then I'm pulling up this lower portion of my leg up forward here, and I'm actually going to engage this glute, okay? So engaging this glute back here. And I'm just gonna hold here for a good 2 minutes, all right? So this is one stretch, pigeon stretch. Okay, so this, in this stretch here, I'm going to get down in sort of a bottom position of a split squat, and this is actually not a really good angle. Here, I'm going to raise my arms straight up overhead. I'm going to engage my glute on this side. So this side I'm engaging my glute. I'm going to keep my abdominals tight. Arms going to go straight up. I'm going to twist to the inside here. So I'm just going to rotate to the inside and hang back slightly. I'm not trying to overextend through my lower back. I'm reaching up high overhead, keeping my glute engaged. So in this case, my right side, and twisting to the inside, holding, keeping this glute nice and tight, abs tight, nice and high, and leaning slightly back and to my left. Okay, so this can help stretch out that hip flexor. All right, hip flexor stretch. All right, so we're gonna do 2 stretches here for the groin. So I'm going to move myself a little bit forward here. I'm going to spread my knees out wide. I'm gonna try to stay 90 degrees at my knees, okay? And I'm gonna keep my back neutral, abs tight, and I'm gonna push back. I'm gonna push back and just hold. Now, as I do this, you're gonna feel a nice stretch sort of on the inside of your groin. As you hold longer, you'll be able to pull your knees apart a little bit more, okay? And we're just gonna push and hold, push and hold, and we're gonna hold for 2 minutes. Right now, I can tell you I feel an extreme amount of pull on my left side, and that's where I have my issue, okay? My right side, I don't feel anything here. So I've got tightness on the inside of my left groin, all right? So we're gonna hold there. Now the second one you're gonna do, staying in the same position. Here is the second one. Actually, I'm gonna break up this video. Show you. All right, so second of the 2 groin stretches. So we're gonna get that same position again. Pull those knees apart, staying 90 degrees at the knees. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to let my hips drop to the floor, hold my abs tight. I'm gonna pull in through my belly, and I'm gonna squeeze my glutes. Now, if you're really tight in on one side of your groin, you'll find it hard to engage the glute on that side just because it's so tight. And I have that on my left side. And this one here, again, I'm gonna hold for 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Now, on this one I can feel I'm probably even hyperextending my lower back a bit too much, but it's really hard because I am excessively tight in this groin. And I'm just going to hold. I am giving myself a lot of support here through my arms, all right? Good tricep workout, by the way. All right, so hold for about 2 minutes here. All right, next we're going to do hamstring stretch. So we can do this one of many ways, but this is fine. We can just do it here. So we're going to keep the legs relatively straight. I've got a lot of scar tissue in this knee, so I cannot actually really hyperextend it. So this is about as far back as I can get it. I'm going to just stay in this position. I like to run my hands down my legs. This is going to create the least amount of torque on my lower back. I'm going to hinge my hips back as if we're doing a stiff leg deadlift here. Okay, keeping those legs straight, hands in. I've got decent flexibility in my hamstrings, so my back is still relatively neutral. I can bring my knuckles to the floor with my arms extended and just hold a really good stretch. We can also play with the placement of the feet. Of course, if I go wider with the feet, I'm gonna get more of the inside of my hamstrings. If I go in a little narrower with the feet, I'll get more here, okay? But a general good hamstring stretch. We want to try to keep those knees back in this case. So nice and back, holding. And again, we're gonna hold for about, 2 minutes here, okay? So a good 2 minutes in this position, trying to keep that back neutral. Remember, we want to get away from rounding out the back, because rounding the back to get down is not stretching the hamstrings. We want to stay nice and straight through the back. See, my back is straight, my back should be nice and straight here, okay? Should feel a good stretch in those hamstrings. Guys, I'm gonna do 2 more actually, so it's actually gonna be 7 stretches. This is another one I really like. You have to be very careful with your lower back on this one. Again, you don't wanna overextend the lower back. All right, so we are going to just drop those hips down, gonna splay the legs apart. We're gonna engage the glutes, keep the abs tight, and look over one shoulder and just hold. Okay, so we look over one shoulder, we're gonna hold for about a minute, and then, if you want to take a break after a minute and just come back in this position and then drop down, squeezing glutes, looking over the other shoulder. And I just felt my femur sort of sublux or just crack. Felt like it just did a small little movement, which kind of felt good. Okay, holding in this position. Okay, so remember on this one we want to hold the abs tight again and engage those glutes. Okay. All right, basic gastrocnemius stretch. So we've done these in class before. These are really, really important, especially when you're squatting for hip health. We want to be able to create a good amount of dorsiflexion. You can see, so dorsiflexion is just when we're pulling the toe towards the shin. So you can see actually with me, I'm excessively tight. Okay, I used to train a lot of calves and not stretch them. And so I'm still paying for that a little bit. So, we want to hold. Of course, as you go through this, you're going to get, the tissue is going to loosen up, right? So we want to just kind of pull up even a bit more, see if we can drive more out of that and try to get a little more stretch in that gastroc, okay? So likewise, I'm going to hold that for about a minute or 2 and we'll go to the other side. I say a minute or 2. I've said 2 minutes in my other videos. 2 minutes is really good. Some professionals suggest that you should stretch for 3 to 4 minutes. I think Kelly Starrett, he's a world-renowned mobility person, and I think he holds stretches for I think at least 3 minutes, 4 minutes. So, okay. All right, there you go.